Hello everyone, I am Jack and I'm back, and let me show you what I'm working on. So this is a C2 Grand Sport hood, and it has these vents on it, and I have been making them. Let's see, the original ones that came on here were thin aluminum like this, and it required cutting slots here, all along here, drilling holes all along here, all along there, and then 3 there and 3 there. And then this piece would slide into the slot like so, and then you would screw it. Well, that's very labor intensive, and you have to cut all those slots just right, the right depth, drill the holes, all of that. I decided I wanted to eliminate all of that work. So instead, I created a separate assembly that holds all of the vents, and then it bolts into the hood with 4 screws, 1 at each corner. So there's the one that has all of the vents on it. This one is just the framework, and same way with this one. I had to get the framework right first before I put the vents in. So in this case, each vent, you can see, glues to one side. So this one glues there, this one glues there, this one there, that one on the back side, and then the front one actually has a notch in it, but most of its adhesion is right here on the back edge. So that's what I did. The reason why I did that is because there wasn't a way to do it on this one, and the problem is that the width of this slot is critical because it has to be the right width to fit the vents in. And that was very tedious work. I'm trying to get rid of the tedious work in this. So I did that one that way. Now I'm thinking I will digitize this, and then when I digitize it, then I can specify, I know the width of these, and then I can specify the slot be a little bit bigger than the width of these, and that will solve that issue. But that's down the road. In order to do this, I have to make the first set, the prototype. So that's what I'm doing now. Unfortunately, this thing is taking way longer than I thought it would. I thought I'd have it done in a couple of days. I've been working on it over a week. So anyway, at least I've got this. Now the next step is also critical. I'm going to flip this over, and the vents have to follow a profile. So like I said, in this case, assuming the slot depth is correct on each of these, that should be relatively easy. Put these in there, drop them down the slot, and then I still have to manipulate the vents forward and backwards so it's centered in the opening. Not a big challenge. This over here, the slots weren't as accurately done, so there's a little bit more manipulation, but not a lot. I put it on there and I was shocked at how close it is to actually working the way it is. But anyway, so now I'm going to flip this over, and I am going to put the vents in the right place. What I do is I hot glue them first near the top to hold it in place once I get it all aligned. Then I'm going to flip it over, or possibly remove it, not sure which, and then probably remove it now that I think about it. Put super glue to glue, CA glue, the vents in. Now I don't trust super glue for a long-term solution, so I have some panel bond type stuff that I bought. It's black. Here it is right here. This stuff is expensive, and the dispenser is really expensive, so there's almost $100 right there. So I hated to spend it. I tried to find other options, and I just couldn't find something that I thought would do as good of a job. So what I'm going to do after I get all assembled is I'm going to put a bead of that along each side of the vent and make a chamfer. Let's see, here, I did it over here on this one. This one is done except for the gloss. I need to spray gloss on top of this one. But if you look, let's see if I can get the light in there. So this front one, I didn't want it showing, so you can barely see. There we go. The chamfer, but on some of these others, there we go. That's what I'm going for. It's surprisingly hard to get that to work. The problem is, or the challenge is, that this stuff dries really, really quickly. It says it has a 3-minute working time, and they're not kidding. It really is 3 minutes. So what I tried to do was go ahead and put the panel bond on each side of it, just the way it comes out of the tube, and then come back and smooth it out. Well, two problems with that. One is it didn't want to smooth out because it already cured just in the time it took me to do. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12 times 2, 24. There's 24 places to put the panel bond. So by the time I got the 24 on there and came back and started trying to smooth, the first one had already cured too much to smooth. So now I learned, put it on, smooth it out, put it on, smooth it out. Again, tedious work. I'm trying to figure out a way to eliminate that tedium, but I haven't figured it out yet. So anyway, at least that's one of the few things that has to be done. And let's see, oh, and then here's the brackets for this one. When you look at it from the top, you could see the aluminum. It's just milled finish aluminum, but you would see the aluminum where it sticks out. Let me see if I can show you. We're looking at it from the bottom side, but this part right here that has to be here, so I have something to bolt to, it sticks out. You can see it from the top side. So I didn't want the shiny aluminum sticking out, so I decided to paint it black, and I decided I wanted to use what is it? Undercoating I used? No, bed liner. Yeah, spray bed liner, and it came out the way I wanted it to. So now they will be less noticeable, and the spray bed liner will handle exposure to the sun and the weather and all that kind of stuff. In fact, it'll have an easier life on this than it would in this typical application, being an actual bed liner. All right, so now my next thing is to flip this over, get all the vents aligned. This right now is just held in with hot glue. I use hot glue whenever I'm going to need to disassemble it, but it holds everything in place. So I have this exactly centered. It's exactly where it goes. And so the next step is to put the vents in. And then, like I said, I'll hot glue it from the top because that's going to be removed later, come in from the bottom and super glue it. And I just bought the different super glue. I got the typical thin stuff to do that one, and it was a pain because it was so thin it kept trying to run everywhere. So I went ahead and ordered a set of thin, medium, and thick. So I'm going to try the thick because I think the thick I can actually get a nice radius there. Maybe so, maybe not, but it's got to be better than the thin that just ran everywhere. All right, that's what I've got now. Today I'm hoping to get all of the vents done and assembled, and then go off and paint them. I think I'm gonna do the gloss. I haven't decided whether to do gloss first and then the bed liner, or vice versa. But I'm going to obviously mask off the opposite area. Oh, and the other reason I put this tape on here is when I put the chamfer on there, there was a challenge not getting it on the part. If I got it on any of the part, then I had to go back in and literally sand it, scrape it off, and that was very tedious. So even though it took a while to do all of the masking there, it's going to be way easier than going back in and trying to remove hardened panel bond. Okay, that's what I've got. Like, subscribe, hit the alert, hit the thanks if you want to donate, and if you don't like what I'm doing, you don't know jack. Bye.